So I know this is going to sound crazy, but they want to monitor every American in real time via our wearable technology, and they want every American wearing it within the next 4 years. That's not my opinion, no matter how crazy it sounds. That is the testimony of Secretary Kennedy this morning.
Their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again. And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
And one of the worst parts about this is they've been very open about it and public about it for a couple of months now, but it has gotten absolutely no coverage. If you remember when they talked about the autism registries that got everybody riled up, that particular registry is an overall part of a larger NIH data platform. And they gave a public presentation about it, and nobody seemed to really pick up on the rest of it other than the autism registries thing. This is a screenshot from a CBS story back when the autism registries thing was announced. And this is one of the slides from this presentation. And this is their real world data platform. And one side of this is their data sources. And the other side of this is what they call their opportunities. Their goal is to get broad coverage of the US population. And by broad coverage, they mean obtaining data on people. That includes pharmacy chains like CVS and Walgreens. Imagine all of the information that these wackadoodles would love to have about you. Things like your antibiotic usage, long-term drugs that you had been on, any vaccines that you got done there. Health organizations like your doctor's offices and hospitals, claims and billing to see what types of services and procedures have been provided to you. And then down here, we have the sensors and the wearables. So they want to put all of this information together about every single American. And what they want to do is use computer resources, AI, and federal partnerships in order to deal with this data. In other words, think Palantir, but with the medical information of every single American. And here is what they want to do with it. Aside from just general data and drug development and stuff like that, the two big ones that really concern the hell out of me is the National Disease Registries, which, like we saw with the autism registry, that's the type of thing that they're talking about there. And then real-time health monitoring. Now, if you go back and you watch that clip of Secretary Kennedy, he talks about wanting to know what the daily habits, daily lives of people are, ranging from their diet to their exercise. The hypocrisy with our data is astounding. They tell us that this app is dangerous for our personal data. And meanwhile, the government is actively trying to obtain information about our most sensitive subjects from every possible source that they can and turn it over to contractors that are in partnership with the government to process that data. Make that make sense. The right wing that put Trump in office, who ultimately put Kennedy in as secretary, did nothing but scream about Bill Gates and the vaccine and about microchips and about microdot tracking on our skin. And yet this is what the government that they elected is trying to do. Make it make sense.
We are going to.
All right. Yeah. So this Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Wanting everybody with wearable devices is just one step closer to the MOTB, the mark of the beast. All right. The total control that the elites want. And every day that goes on, we one day closer to this very real situation of the prophecy of Revelation 13, 15 on down, talking about the mark of the beast. All right, so with that, call hello, Yahweh Shemel Shai Bashim Kodash. All right, we're going to go into some scriptures, and Lord willing, is edifying to the hopeful elect. All right, because the elites who are Edomites, so-called white man, woman, and child, the ones who are at the top of the pyramid, so to say, you know, that own all the banks, they own all the oil, they own nations, okay? They have an agenda, and part of that agenda is getting everybody tagged with a micro CHIP. for total control. That's what it comes down to. They want total control over the population. Esau has what you call, which I'm going to Google it just for the definition, a God complex. That's what Esau has. So let's get the definition of God complex. A God complex. This is the AI overview. It says a God complex refers to an individual's belief that they are superior to others and possesses special or even divine powers. And that's how Esau thinks about himself. You know, he thinks he's above the Most High. He thinks he is God. Okay? It says this often manifests as an inflated sense of one's self-importance. And that's Esau. You know, that's why the scriptures tell you, you know, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. You know, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, which is going into these Edomites. They are so puffed up with pride. And little do they know, the reason that they're at the top of society and have all this technology is because of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, the Lord. But what they don't know is that the Most High is about to strip them of that power. Because Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is only going to allow these devils to get so far with their New World Order. They're not going to be able to accomplish their New World Order. But they are going to get this ball rolling. And people are going to be chipped up. All right? It says, this often manifests as an inflated sense of one's self-importance and inability to accept criticism and difficulties in forming healthy relationships. Okay. Key characteristics of someone with a God complex: inflated of self-importance, difficulty accepting criticism, manipulative behavior, and is the number one manipulator. Okay, and he manipulates the minds of the people with his media. All right, and he's gonna use the media to promote this microchip, man. Okay, so let's get into it. Let me go ahead and check the feed. The feed looks like it's kind of tripping right now. Let me make sure everything's good. Let me go ahead and check the feed. The feed looks like it's kind of tripping right now. Let me make sure everything's good. All right, we're good. Okay, so without further ado, let's get Habakkuk 2 and 3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." Right, and the vision is going into the prophecies. And the number one prophecy that we're looking out for is this mark of the beast. You know, we're down to the last few prophecies. When this chip comes out, when this microchip comes out, you know, we're going to be counting down days before Yahweh Shai comes. All right. And everything's moving to this digital age. All right. The fourth industrial revolution, where pretty much everything is going to be digital. They're going to do away with cash. All right. And that's why we see the inflation of the dollar. Okay. And ultimately, everything is, you know, the value of the dollar. We're seeing the devaluation of the US dollar, the petrodollar. Okay. Which is all part of the plan to bring in the microchip. All right. So we waiting and we watching. This is just another thing to watch for. And they said they want people chip with this, you know, in the next you know, they want people with wearables in 4 years. Okay. And look, right here it says what's going to be in the wearable technology: your pharmacy chains, health organizations, so your clinical data. So everything is going to be stored onto this wearable, but it's going to ultimately lead to the mark of the beast. The wearable device that you're just going to be able to put on like a watch or a wristband, that's not the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is the microchip. Okay. And it's all, this devil works with gradualism. All right. So everything is gradually manifesting into the you know, the prophecy being fulfilled, which is the chip. Okay. And they want everything in that chip. your driver's license, social security card, medical records, clinical data, your social credit score. Everything is going to be in the chip. Your money, bank accounts, your keys to unlock your car, to start your car. Everything is going to be in that charagma. Okay? And we entering into that time now. So let's get into the prophecy. Revelation 13 and verse 15. And all you other Israelites are going to be looking crazy when this prophecy comes to pass, man. Because it's coming. All the scoffers, all the non-believers, IUIC, ISUPK, WFI, One Body, HOI, right? A lot of Israelite camps don't teach the mark of the beast correctly, which that's why, the premier group is Great Millstone and the affiliates. Okay, the true doctrine of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the unfiltered 100% truth. Okay, it's coming out of the house of Great Millstone, which I believe is the house of David, starting with the elder apostles on down. All right, Revelation 13 and verse 15, it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. All right, and this beast is going into the the modern Roman Empire, which is made up of NATO and the EU. Okay, and the image of the beast is going into the devil's new world order. Ultimately their plans or their agenda, right? Their enterprise, which is going to be centered around getting everybody on Earth chipped up. All right, and they're going to push fear tactics, and they're going to push safety, peace and safety, to get everybody to take the microchip, and everything that's happening, there's going to be another 911, that's going to shake up the world, and Esau is going to push this chip as a sense of global security, and if you don't take the chip, you're going to be deemed as the enemy of the state. And they're going to be also be casting certain individuals into prison, FEMA camps, if you don't want to take the chip. Okay, because taking the chip is going to be your alliance to Satan and his kingdom. It's going to be your alliance to America. Okay, and the elect is not going to take this chip. But it says that the image of the beast shall both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So that's the truth about this chip is there's going to be a death penalty behind it. All right. And, we got to wait and see how Yahweh Shem Yahushua is going to play it out. But that's what the scriptures say, that if you don't want to worship the beast, they're going to, you should be killed. All right. So that's why this prophecy is so deadly serious. Okay. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And we go into it time and time again. The word mark here is charagma, which is going into that chip, right? The micro CHIP. Okay. And you already have people that have brain chips. You have people in the world that have microchips in their hands. You already have, the technology is here. It's just a matter of when it's going to be mandatory. It's going to be forced upon the world. All right. You're not going to be able to buy and sell. That's what the next verse says. It says, and no man might buy or sell. No man might buy or sell, save or unless he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to buy and sell. That's what Esau is going to do. He's going to threaten your ability of buying and selling. Okay. And that's how you live in this society. So Esau is going to deceive most of the people into taking it. He's going to, fearmonger, going to push fear on the people to take it. See, and that's why it's so important to have the Lord, to have this truth. Because in that time, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the Lord is going to be with us. He's going to feed us. We're going to eat. We're going to have water. We're going to have raiment. We're going to have clothes. Our children are going to be fed because we chose to serve Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the creator of the universe. All right, which really this is the Lord's chip when you go into it, because the Most High is the one who gave Esau the technology to create this microchip, okay, which he's going to force upon the world, which really is a test that the Most High is putting out there, labeled as the hour of temptation. All right, in the scriptures, a time of trial, a trial period where we're going to be tested. Everybody's going to be tested to see if you really believe on the Heavenly Father and the only begotten Son. All right, because you're not going to have anything. We're going to literally have to 144% rely on the Lord to feed us. That's when we're going to have to unplug from this matrix fully. You know, we already unplugged, you know, from the matrix, but we're going to have to fully 144% unplug from this place, go off the grid, so to say, when this thing is mandatory. All right, so this is one step closer. All right, so you're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you have that chip. This is what this is talking about. Okay, the microchip. And this right here with Robert JFK, this the health secretary, he wants all Americans wearing a wearable device within the next 4 years. All right, which we know that's not the chip, but it's going to evolve into the microchip being manifest in prophecy, being manifest. Okay. But let me grab this and we'll close it out. 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, right? And Satan has an advantage over the most of the world because they don't believe, you know, the people of the world don't believe on the Heavenly Father. All right. But we, the brothers, few sisters of the faith, we're not ignorant of this devil's devices. We know what's going on. We see what's happening. We know that there's going to be a mandatory microchip. We're not arguing with people about it at this point. We're not going to go back and forth. If you can't see it, it's because the Most High don't want you to see it. All right? So Satan is not going to get an advantage over the elect. All right? The elect is going to get the victory through the blood of Yahweh Shai and the words of the testimony, which is the spirit of prophecy that we come in. All right. So one step closer, MOTB watch. Keep your eyes peeled. Another day down in the wicked kingdom. Yahweh Shai is coming back soon. Call hello, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Until next time, I say shalom.